In succession planning, we often hear people say that if you die without a will, the Crown gets your assets. Thankfully, that's generally not the case, and each state and territory has a set of laws called the intestacy laws, and what those laws do is they provide a statutory formula that dictates where your assets pass if you die without a will. The outcome of those laws is generally that your assets will pass to your surviving relatives, and they'll only end up passing to the state if there's no one left. In Victoria, these laws are about to change, with the new changes taking effect on the 1st of November 2017. There's really three, main scenarios that I'll talk about today that we see in practical terms in the estate planning area. The first of those is a situation where if you die leaving a spouse and no children, under these new laws, all of your assets will pass to the spouse. That's a fairly straightforward example. The second situation is if you die with a spouse and also children that are surviving, and those children are from your relationship with your spouse. In that situation, again, it's fairly straightforward. All of the assets now pass to the spouse. That's quite a big change from the earlier laws, which actually provided that the spouse would get the first $100,000 and then 1/3 of the estate, and the children would get the balance, so the remaining 2/3 of the estate, which provided a lot of practical problems. You often had situations where a spouse and minor children might have ended up owning a home, which wasn't an ideal situation. So this problem has been addressed under the new legislation. The third situation is a little more complicated, but it's also a fairly common area that we're seeing these days, and that's a situation where you die leaving a spouse, but also leaving children, but those children are from a separate relationship. In this situation, the spouse receives what they call a statutory minimum amount, and that amount's about $451,000. That gets indexed each year. The balance of the estate is then divided 50% to the spouse and 50% to the children. So again, that provides probably a better outcome than the current situation, but at the same time, it doesn't provide an ideal outcome. We always think of things in a practical sense, and there's a lot of complications that can come along with dying without leaving a will. What it can do is it can cause complications in the estate administration process. You're also bound by the legislation, so you don't have any say in how your assets actually pass. From a practical situation, we always recommend that clients do execute wills. What that does is it gives you certainty about how your assets are going to pass. It also allows you to put in place structures such as testamentary trusts and superannuation proceeds trusts. These structures can provide many benefits, including having someone control assets for young children until they reach the age where they can take over. They also provide asset protection strategies, and they also provide a lot of tax planning opportunities. So the takeaway from this is that while we agree that the changes are a much better situation than the current situation, we always recommend that clients get their succession planning affairs in order, and we're certainly here and able to assist with that. Look forward to speaking to you again soon, and that's a snapshot for today. Thank you.